Hi guys, James here, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's having a great day. Wow, I haven't filmed a video for such a long time, and yeah, today I thought I would sit down and kind of talk about where I've been and why I haven't filmed for a while, and also kind of tell you the future of this channel. Not that it's huge or anything, but I just wanted to talk about why I haven't filmed for a while. And I also wanted to do it while I was doing a massive declutter. I usually do these at the end of the year. I was going to wait until the new year and do it then, but I just thought I would do it now because I'm not actually planning on buying too much more makeup at the end of this year. I've got the Lunar Beauty Holiday Event Calendar palette coming, and I might buy something from Ali Dawson in the future, like a box of makeup that she does when she does a big declutter at the end of the year. So I've got plans on that, but other than that, I'm not planning on buying any more makeup. So yeah, I thought I would do a declutter video. As you can see, I've got a lot of palettes on my table. You probably can't see it. I tried to lower the camera down so you could kind of see what I'm doing. Like, they're just out of view. Like, they're just out of view. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of sit down and talk about what I'm planning with this channel, why I haven't filmed, and I really wanted to start doing a declutter video, because it's going to probably be multiple videos. This will be the eyeshadow palette video. I've only got half my eyeshadow palettes out. I've probably got 60 in front of me. These are more of my smaller palettes and some of my bigger palettes, and then I've probably got 20 in my everyday drawer right next to me and also my desk, and then I've got all my bigger palettes there. So I thought I'd start with more of my smaller palettes and just go through them. This will probably be a long video. All my videos usually are, especially my declutter ones, but I want to go through these as quick as possible, and yeah, just go through the ones that I know I'm not going to have, and just go through all the ones that I definitely know I'm not going to keep, because I do have quite a few of these. I'll put my phone and iPad on silent, and I've got about an hour to do this because I'm going to actually go to the airport with my sister, pick up my mum. My grandmother's not doing too well by the sounds of it. She's in hospital, so my mum has come back. My mum and dad actually live in Fiji right now, on a boat, but she came back to start packing up my grandmother's apartment. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up my mum later on and we're gonna probably have dinner. So I just want to start filming this video, and then I can put my battery on charge while I go and pick up my mum and have dinner with my sister. Alright, let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up a random palette and tell you if I'm going to keep it or not, and maybe give you a quick rundown of my thought of the palette. I don't really want to spend too much time on each palette just because it's going to be a long video as it is, and I also want to kind of tell you where I've been and what I've been doing. So we'll start with this palette here. This is a Morphe palette. This is just a Morphe empty palette. I actually have 6 individual Jeffree Star eyeshadows in this palette. I have not used these. These are actually really pretty. I'm going to keep this just because the palette itself is a magnetic palette and they're always handy to have. So I might throw the eyeshadow palette, I might throw the eyeshadows out later, but I'll keep the palette. The next one we have is a Juvia's Place Quad palette. I have actually used the shimmers out of this, but not really the matte. I'm going to keep it because I love greens. I'm going to basically keep most of my Colourpop and Juvia's Place palettes. I'm just going to tell you that now, but I have a whole lot of other palettes that I'm not going to keep. So we're just going to go through them. This one I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep my Juvia's Place Quad palettes. This is the Honey palette. Really pretty. This palette here is from Flower Beauty, and I bought this over a year ago. I've not used it. It's still sealed. I'm just going to give that away to somebody. I'm sure it's still good. Colourpop. We've got all my Colourpop palettes here. I'm going to keep all of them. This is the in a triangle one, the purple one, the green one, the Honey palette, the Going Coconuts, which is my personal favourite from Colourpop, the Blue Moon palette, which I purchased recently. Again, this is my 3rd one of these. And then we've got the Blow and Smokes palette, going to keep that. So we'll keep those. I am keeping a lot of these, but I also I know I'm going to get rid of a lot. So with my channel and why I haven't been doing makeup is, first of all, I've been really busy at work. I'm very short staffed at work right now, so I've been doing 5-2-5-2, which is normally not what I do. I usually do 4-3. My roster's never the same, so I'm only part-time, so I work whenever I'm rostered. Usually I'm rostered 4 days, 2 days off, 3 days off, all that type of stuff, but I've been doing a lot more work lately. And because I'm a shift worker, usually the first day off I am catching up on sleep and also doing my housework, and then the second day I usually catch up with friends or something like that. I don't usually do makeup the day before I go to work, just because a lot of these eyeshadows are vegan, and because of that they use dyes in eyeshadows and they stain the eyelids. So I don't want to turn up to work with bright pink stained eyelids. That's just not going to work for me. So I don't usually play with makeup the day before I go to work, and because I've only had 2 days off and the first day I'm catching up on sleep and housework, and for the last couple of months I've been doing 5-2 for I think 6 to 8 weeks now, so I haven't played with any makeup. I also haven't been really motivated to play with makeup. I love makeup and I've been doing it, I just hadn't been filming it. So I've been practicing eyeshadows and trying different things. I've also been doing TikTok lives, not recently, but I do a lot of TikTok lives where I actually play with the makeup. I love to interact with people when I'm doing makeup and answer questions if they've got any. That's why I haven't really filmed any YouTube videos doing makeup. I am planning to, I just haven't got around to it. These Juvia's Place palettes, by the way, before this video gets too long, I'm going to keep these. So pretty. I haven't used this one. This is the Sahara by Juvia's palette. A lot of these I get on sale or I get in mystery boxes. This is such a pretty palette. I have used these 2 shades, and the white is a really, really pretty highlighter shimmer. Really, really pretty. We've got the Warrior 3 by Juvia's Place. Love the blues and the pinks and purples. I've used this multiple times. The good thing about Juvia's Place, like, it's a 9-pan eyeshadow palette, but the pans are so big, which I love. We've got the Zulu palette by Juvia's, another beautiful palette. I mean, these greens and blues and purples are just, I'm all about that. Love those palettes. This Nubian 2 by Juvia's, I've used this a couple times. This green is really pretty and this blue is really pretty. Then the other colours are mostly neutrals. And the transition shades are really pretty in this as well. Like, this brown is such a pretty, like, transition terracotta brown. Love that. Then guys, the next palette we have is the Wahara 2 palette. This palette I thought I would use a lot more than I have. I don't really like the glitter formula in this palette, but the mattes work nice. I thought I would be using this palette all the time because I love the colour story in it, and I really haven't. So I'll keep it for the next 6 months. If I haven't used it, then I'll get rid of it. But the rest of Juvia's Place palette so far I'm keeping. And then guys, we've got these 6-pan ones, which I'm keeping all of these. So pretty. This blue, it's a blue with iridescent pink in it. Stunning. Oh god, a lot of these are dusty because I did have all of these out on top of my dresser in my room, because I was actually going to rank my Juvia's Place palettes, but I never got around to it, so they're all dusty. This blue one is so pretty. This is my first Juvia's Place palette I've ever played with, and I love that palette. And the next one, guys, we have is this purple one. Really, really pretty. Love that palette. The glitter formula in that palette, not my favourite, but the mattes and the shimmers are perfect. Then we also have these quad palettes. Juvia's, keeping that grey one. I love mixing and matching these palettes. Love this aqua green palette. I don't know if you can see it. The ring light might be a bit bright. But it's really, really pretty. Alright, so those are, oh no, we've got 2 more Juvia's Place palettes. 3 more actually. This one here, I have used this palette multiple times and it is one of my favourite palettes of all time. This shimmer is stunning. Stunning. I don't want to swatch it because I'm just going to transfer it all over my palettes and I hate doing that. This pink one, another beautiful one. Going to keep this one. I've used this pink shimmer there probably the most out of all my palettes. Can't get over it. I will do a ranking my Juvia's Place palettes coming soon. I will get around to doing that video. Then guys, we have this big culture palette from Juvia's Place. I think it's my biggest Juvia's Place palette, and when I saw this I had to have it, and I did wait a while to get it because I was very poor at the time, so I waited for a sale and I do not regret it. Like, these greens, these purples and blues, it's everything I wanted, and it's a very affordable palette. I think it was like $34 normal price, maybe $39, but I got it for like half price, so I was really happy with that. Alright, that's all my Juvia's Place palettes. Now that that's done, let me quickly tell you more about what I want to do with this channel in the future. I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing less makeup and doing just makeup more on TikTok and stuff. I will still do YouTube lives with Lottie in the future and maybe other people as well. It's just trying to find the time to do it. But in the future I will be doing more lives when I do makeup rather than actually doing an actual video, unless I really want to review a palette in particular, because usually when I do a live I use 3 or 4 palettes and a whole lot of products. So If I'm really wanting to highlight a brand or a palette, then I will probably just do a makeup tutorial. But any makeup videos in the future on my YouTube, I'll probably just be doing as live videos. That's what I see right now, but it might change in the future, so don't hold me to that. And instead, I will probably be focusing more on Pokemon because I'm really loving Pokemon right now. I've been doing a lot of Pokemon related TikTok videos, and also most of my Instagram posts have been Pokemon related. Now, I haven't really done much on Instagram, been focusing more on TikTok, just because editing a 3-minute video for TikTok is a lot faster. I can do that at work, or I can do that anytime I've got some free time. I just whip out my phone and start editing. So I like that aspect. When I sit down to edit a YouTube video, it can take me 3 hours to do. So I like that I can just whip out my phone and edit a TikTok video in 5 minutes and have that up really quickly. So I've been really focusing more on TikTok, but I really love the community that I have on my YouTube channel, and I really hope that you guys will stick around. But if Pokemon's not your thing, I completely understand. It's just something that I really want to focus on and I've really fallen in love with lately. So we'll still do makeup. I love makeup, but I think with YouTube, I'm going to be spending less time on beauty products, and that's why I've actually changed my YouTube name to James_Bake 1988, just because I want to change it from beauty, because that's what I'm doing less of on my channel, and just kind of changing more to Pokemon and also everyday videos. I might start doing some more vlogs. I might also do some cooking videos and also some other stuff that I'm interested in, so keep an eye out for those videos. Guys, I just want to address what I'm doing with this channel and why I've been away. You know, I have had some people message me and ask me, oh, what are you doing? You're doing more videos, I miss you, and all that type of stuff. I'm not saying hundreds of people message me, just a few people that I'm really friendly and close to. So yeah, guys, I wanted to sit down and discuss that, and also do a declutter because I'm running out of space. I want to get rid of some of my palettes and some of my other makeup products, and also make some space up for my Pokemon stuff, because I have a lot. As you can see, we've kind of messed in the background. I'm working on my background all the time. Let's get more into the video because I've already been talking a lot, and this video is going to be long enough. So let's get straight into it. This Violet Voss palette I haven't used at all. It's a neutral palette. It kind of reminds me of the Jaclyn Hill palette, like the Mother Day palette. I'm going to put a photo of that next to it because I kind of feel like that's the same palette. I'm going to keep it because I've never tried Violet Voss, and I keep meaning to. I am going to declutter like this Sports Girl palette. It's a cute palette. I bought it when it was discounted. I'm going to get rid of that. I haven't used it. It's like $3 or $4 when it was discounted. This is a neutral palette, Sports Girl. Get rid of that. This Too Faced, that's my Jam palette. I've had this for almost 2 years now. It's a cute palette, but I'm gonna pass that on. Actually, I might keep that and give that to somebody. Oh, it smells like strawberries. I might keep that because I like the smell of that. This Mecha Max palette, I actually created a really pretty look with this palette. I cannot open it to show you. Do I have my tweezers here so I can open it for you? This palette was really cute, and it was like $10. Oh, wait, that's not the palette. Must have another Morphe palette. Okay, that's a neutral palette. I'm going to get rid of that one. This is the palette, I think. Like, this is an olive green palette, and it's so pretty. Yeah, this palette is really pretty. I'm going to keep that one. The ring light's washing a lot of the colours out. I apologise. This DB Eyeshadow CU palette, I'm going to get rid of. Drugstore brand. Not a bad brand, I just haven't used it. This one here, I'm going to get rid of. Another Sports Girl palette. This Odin's Eye palette, it's actually really pretty, but it's quite old. I bought this almost 2 years ago. It's a pretty palette. I'm going to get rid of that one. I haven't used that one. I've got some bigger eyeshadow palettes from Odin's Eye that I will keep, but these smaller ones I'm just going to get rid of. I just don't see myself using these. I might turn that light down because that is bright. Alright guys, I quickly just turned my ring light down because it was really washing out the palettes. I just want to kind of show you exactly what they look like as much as I can. And so you know what I'm actually talking about when I'm talking about the colours. This palette here is from Huda Beauty, the Neo one. This is actually really pretty. God, yeah, that's actually really pretty. I'm going to keep that one. And then guys, we've got this Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. So pretty. This packaging is stunning. And the lid just comes off and it has a mirror, which I don't really use. This palette is stunning. I really love the pink and the green shimmers. These two, they are really pretty. And then these like yellowy chartreuse, I think that's how I say it. Those colours are really pretty. I'll keep that. Kaleidos, one of these palettes, the Futurism palettes. They're cute. I'm going to get rid of some of these though, just because I haven't used them, so I'll get rid of that one. Even though I really like them, they're just 3 years old, and I think they're only good for 12 months in the first place. This palette, really pretty. I'm going to get rid of it. This is a Morphe palette. Really nice, like neutral 5-pan palette. I'll get rid of that. I don't know why I bought that. I don't know why. I liked it, but I've got so many neutral shades in a lot of my bigger palettes. I don't need that. This is a small Morphe palette. I'm going to keep this just because these individual shades are really pretty. Like this iridescent blue, iridescent pink, and then these greens. Stunning. We've got another Morphe empty palette. We'll keep that because I'll get single shadows from somewhere. This Forest palette. This is the Raw Beauty Christie X Colourpop. I mean, this is probably what, 2 to 3 years old now. I'm going to keep that because I love the colours in that. We've got another Colourpop palette which I will keep because I only purchased this a month or 2 ago in the Springs palette, and this blue and orange combination is really pretty, so we'll keep that one. We also have the Colourpop Hocus Pocus. I think this is the first palette they did. Really, really pretty. I think I got this palette from either Ali or Jennifer. I got one of these from Jennifer, and I might have got both of them actually from Jennifer. So we also have the second one they did, the Witching Hour. I'm pretty sure this is the second one. Really, really pretty colour story. I'll keep that as well because I love Hocus Pocus. I just watched the third movie. I think it was a Disney. It wasn't a bad movie, not my favourite, but I still love Hocus Pocus, and I've got eyeshadow all over my desk. Lucky I've got a towel down. Okay, let's continue. Colourpop, these small pan palettes. I'm just going to declutter because I've got the bigger versions in the 9-pan palette, so I'm going to declutter these. We've got these two which I'm going to keep. These are from the like Opal or Desert. I don't know what collection it was, but I bought these a couple months ago and I'm going to keep them. We'll keep those. I love Colourpop's formula. We've got the Sandstone palette. I got this for $10. It was on sale 3 years ago. Declutter. We had this Candy Castle one. This was selling for like $100 on eBay at one point. This is 3 years old. Declutter. Didn't really like the shades in that palette. Now this palette I really like. I really wanted to get. This is the Getting Fresh palette. Like a really pretty big palette. I've only ever had a big palette from Colourpop, which was the So Jaded palette. And I love that palette, but I decluttered it a while ago. This palette is so pretty. It's full of neutrals and full of greens and brownie tones. But this palette smells like a foot. It smells like a dirty foot. I don't know why the shades smell like it. I don't know if it's the glue that they've used in the palette or if it's the shadows. God, the neighbours are renovating next door. But it smells like a foot. I'm going to keep it. It's just every time I open it, it smells like a foot. So remember that if you're going to buy that palette. Sorry. The next palette we have is from MAC. Oh, when I saw this, I had to get this palette. It's an all shimmer palette and it's so pretty. So pretty. I love that palette. I'm going to keep that. I actually really love MAC's formula. This palette here from Model Rock Color Playbook palette. I've only used this a couple times. It's a cute colour story, but I've got a lot of rainbow palettes. I'm just going to get rid of that one. That was $4 when they were having it on discount on their website because they were like selling off and rebranding, I think. $4. So cool. This palette is the Cheek and Chic palette. I bought this because I wanted to do a review on it. I've used it a couple times off camera and on camera when I'm doing it live. Like this purple I've used a lot, as you can tell, and then some of the pinks and the blues. Now the glitter shades in this palette are horrendous. I would never use them again. I did try, they were horrendous. But I like this palette, so I'm going to keep that. And this is an Australian brand. I bought it in Myers, I think, but it's sold at Target and stuff like that. The next palette we have is from Luna Beauty. I'm going to declutter this palette. This is the Greek Goddess palette. And I wanted to keep all his palettes because I really love to support Luna Beauty. But this is an old palette. And I think this is almost 4 years old. I would say almost 4 years old. So I kind of don't need that palette. I'm just going to declutter that. Even though I wanted to hold on to it and like have it because I have every other palette, I don't need it. I'm at that stage of my life where I need to make room, you know. We have the BH Best Friends palette. Alanda and Elise. I actually really like the formula in this palette, and the blues and pinks and stuff are really, really pretty. So I'm going to keep them. So I'm going to keep that for a bit longer because I haven't used it enough. We have the Disney's Villains palette. I haven't used this palette, but I actually got this in a mystery box my sister created for me from, I think it was eBay or Amazon. It was one of those. So I'm going to use it. I was planning on doing like a whole different. I was planning on doing a look using all these palettes. Just I haven't got around to it, so I'm going to keep that and do that. This Chic Glam palette I actually got from Lottie because she didn't want to use it anymore. And I really wanted to test out the formula before I purchased anything from Chic Glam. I haven't done that yet, so I'm going to keep it because I still want to do that. We're getting through this, guys. We're getting through this. I've probably got another 20 palettes in front of me, and then we've got more later. The next palette we have is from Nomad. This is the Whistler Snowy Lodge palette. Such a beautiful palette. You know, I was really, really happy with the look that I created using this palette. I'm going to put that up on screen because it was one of my favourite looks I've ever done, and I thought I looked really pretty in it, so I'll put that on screen. And the next palette we've got is the With Love Cosmetics palette. This is the purple one. I bought this when I bought the glitter single shadows from With Love Cosmetics. This was a regret. I bought it because it was on sale and I thought, oh, I would buy it. But the glitter formula in these £9 eyeshadow palettes, or at least this one, is nothing compared to the actual glitter formula in the single shadows. These feel like sand on your eyes, like the grit feels like sand, so I'm just going to get rid of that because I would never use that again. We have the Pure Raw Beauty Christie palette. Now this palette is old as, and I haven't used it. When I first got it, I loved the neutral side, and then the colours side is really, really pretty. These shimmers are really, really pretty. And I remember buying the whole collection and getting the lashes with it, and the lashes were amazing, really nice and long and dramatic. I'm going to keep this because I love Raw Beauty Christie, and I'm keeping the Colourpop palette, so I'm going to keep that one as well. The next palette we have is from Odin's Eye. This is the highlighter palette. Guys, their highlighters just do not work for me. I find the particles very, very chunky on my face, and I just didn't like that. And it's just glitter bukkake, as what Teresa's dad would say. It just goes everywhere. I don't have time to battle with my highlighters, so I'm just going to get rid of that one. The next one we have is from Makeup Revolution. This is a free palette I got when I spent a certain amount at Priceline here in Australia, and I'm just going to declutter it because I haven't used it, even though I like the packaging. That was 4 years ago, I think, so we'll get rid of that. The next one we have is from Luna Beauty, no, Kaleidos, sorry. This is the Lavender palette, and oh my god, guys, this colour story is so pretty. I'm going to keep this just because the purple shimmers in this palette are phenomenal. You know what I mean. I'm going to keep that. The next palette we have is from Fenty Beauty, and Ali Dawson sent this to me because she didn't want it. She was decluttering, and I wanted this palette for ages, but it wasn't available here in Australia. It was sold out in the Sephora Australia store, so I couldn't get it. And when she had this to sell on her Macari website, I was like, can I please get this? So she included this in a box she sent me. I love this palette. The neutrals blend out really nicely, and the shimmers are really nice. I think this is the only big size Fenty Beauty palette that I have, and I love it, so I'll keep that. Love that palette. The next one we have is from Hearts of Nude. This is the With Love Cosmetics. This is another palette that Ali sent me, and it's a neutral eyeshadow palette. I like this, but I'm going to declutter it because I have so many other neutral palettes that I use. And even though Ali sent it to me, I'm going to keep some of the other palettes she has sent to me, just because I haven't used this one as much, so we'll get rid of that one. I'm trying to make room. The next palette is probably one of my favourite palettes packaging wise. This is the Huda Beauty Mercury Renegade palette. Such a pretty palette. This palette retails for about $110 at Sephora here in Australia. Such a beautiful colour story. Very pastel, very light pink, purple, blue. I'm going to keep this palette. It's a beautiful palette, one of my favourites. Oh, I'm getting a cold. Then guys, the next palette we have is Twas the Night Before Christmas. This is a collaboration with my friend Erica Beauty X Glam Geo Lashes, and I love this palette. I actually did a couple lives using this palette with Pure Lottie when we got this palette last Christmas. This colour story is so pretty, very, very Christmassy, and I love the packaging. It kind of reminds me of tinsel. The glitters I love in this palette, and the shimmers and the mattes really, really are nice. The shade Cookie is one of my favourite transition shades. This one here in the middle. Such a beautiful transition shade, and then the reds are really pretty. So I'm going to keep that one. I was really, really excited for my friend when she got that collaboration. The next palette we have is MAC. This is the Professional Makeup. And I got this from Lottie because she was decluttering, and I love MAC, and she knows how much I love MAC. This is basically a peach and pink purple eyeshadow palette. All matte, no shimmers. I think I'm going to declutter this. Some of the pinks do tend to stain on my eyes quite badly, especially this hot pink, which is my favourite shade in this palette. But I was so grateful that Lottie actually let me have this palette, and I have used it off camera quite a lot of times. I just found the staining can be quite severe with this palette. But all my pink palettes, like my Colourpop ones and stuff, always stain like that as well. So it's just not MAC. It's a lot of eyeshadow palettes do that with pinks and purples, for me anyway. So I'm going to declutter that palette. The next palette we have is from Luna Beauty, and this is the Eternal Eclipse palette. Such a pretty, pretty palette. I can't wait for my holiday palette to arrive. I think that's coming next week, the 19th. I think today's the 10th. So I'm really excited for that palette. But this is the Total Eclipse palette. Really, really pretty. Neutral, grungy, bluish palette, and this palette is stunning. We're going to keep that one forever because it's stunning. Alright, the next palette we have is from Jeffree Star. Never used it, and I keep meaning to send this to my cousin in New Zealand because she loves makeup and she doesn't get much makeup. She has 3 boys, I think, and she works on a farm. So, you know, to get a Jeffree Star palette to New Zealand, shipping and tax and actually paying for the palette is quite expensive. It probably costs us almost $200 for it to actually arrive here to Australia or New Zealand. So I'm going to give this palette to her because I have never used it, and I actually got this palette in my mystery box. So I'm going to give that to her. I also have a few other palettes that I've never touched that I'm going to send to her. I was meant to send this to her like 6 months ago, and I still haven't. So I'm getting there. It will get to you. It will get to you. Just know I've never touched it, so it's all good. I'm just being slack, and I've got a lot of things on, so I'll get there. I will get there. I also have this palette here. This is the Colour Book Makeup Revolution palette. My sister got me this. One side is all shimmer and one side's all matte, and I really like that you can actually have this like plastic cover to work with the side you need to, and then you don't have to like touch that by accident with your hand. I really like that. And the pink and purple colour story is right up my alley, so we will do a video or a live using that palette soon. We also have another Makeup Revolution palette. This is the Forever Flawless. I love the tin. It's such a pretty like marbled effect. Love that. This is what it looks like. Really, really pretty, and this pink shimmer is stunning. A very nice neutral palette with a pop of pink, so I'm going to keep that one to use later on. We have this one here. This is from Crown, and I think Lottie got this for me, or passed this on to me. I haven't used it very often. I thought I would, but I'm not. Oh yeah, that's right. It smells terrible. It's nothing to do with Lottie. The actual palette itself smells like medicine, like really bad medicine. I don't know why this palette smells so bad. I'm just going to declutter it because every time I open it, it hits you in the face. So yeah, that's why I haven't used it. The next palette we have is from La Rock Pro, the Circus Tent palette. I thought I'd use it a lot, and I've only used it a few times. Beautiful colour story, beautiful rainbow colour story, and the highlighters are really pretty. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep that palette. I like it. We have the Carnival 3 palette by Be Perfect Love Tahiti. I'm going to declutter this palette, and the reason why is because some of the shades are broken, and I don't know if you can see that in the mirror and also on the palette. Those shades have just gone all over this palette, and every time I try and clean it up, it just mixes with all the mattes, and you can never get a clean like matte to dip in because there's shimmer all over this whole entire palette. Like, I don't know if the camera will see it, but it's all over the mirror. Every time I open it, it's the same. I cleaned it all up, and then it just goes like this. So I'm just going to get rid of it because I hate looking at this, and I hate having to like dip my brush into areas where there's no shimmer, but it's very hard to do that because there's shimmer everywhere. And I've literally got it all over my hand. So yay, declutter that, even though I love that palette. Oh my god, I didn't realise I spilled all over my desk. It is all over my desk and all over this last palette. So this is a Morphe palette. I think this is an empty palette. Oh no, it's full, but it's like an empty palette. and there are some shades broken here, and they've gone all over the place as well. So I've got to clean all of that up, and all the palette, and also all over my desk. All these shadows I'm just going to declutter because they're all very, very old. Some of these I know are 4+ years old, so I'm going to declutter all of these, clean up the palette, and then I've got an anti-magnetic big palette to use. That's all my palettes that I've gone through on my desk. I still think I've got 40 palettes on my desk, but I have probably, I have this box here full of palettes, like full of palettes, probably 20 something plus in here, so I'm really happy about that. I also do have another 50 palettes. This is not me bragging, by the way, this is just me telling you what I have. Some of these palettes are 4 years old. I've been collecting palettes for 5+ years maybe. I've had a lot of eyeshadow palettes before I started YouTube because I practiced with them before I got on YouTube, because people can be cruel in the comment sections. But yeah, I have a good 50+ more palettes to go through. I think this is where I'm going to end the video because it's long enough as it is. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be going through all of my makeup, all my foundations, powders, base palettes, highlighters, everything in the next couple of weeks, and putting up these videos, and then I can actually start fresh with my channel again, kind of doing more Pokemon stuff. But I really wanted to address the makeup situation that I have on my channel. Well, not a makeup situation, but what I'm planning to do with my makeup more on my channel. With that guys, I'm going to go because I have to get ready to go out to dinner. But if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also check out my Instagram and TikTok, because I do post a lot of things on there that I don't film on my YouTube channel. Alright, I'm gonna go. Bye!